It's neat. It's neat to be here at GRADD again. It's kind of fun for me. I'm excited to talk about a program that we were fortunate to have funded through Owensboro Health's community benefit grant. Is there a, here we go. All right, now I'm going to try this. All right, through the Owensboro Health Community Benefit Grant. PEARLS stands for a program to encourage active, rewarding lives for seniors. It's a program that reduces mild to moderate depression in the senior's own home. And the reason that we thought it was important that we do it in Davis County, we had a client who did take his own life, a senior who took his own life. It was devastating to our staff. It was devastating to his meal driver. And we'd also had some staff concerns with their own families. And so we saw that there was a tremendous opportunity for us to address a condition that there's such a high demand for, but there's actually fewer providers. There's about one provider to every 180 clients that they might see, and so that's tremendous. So according to the Center for Medicare and Medicaid, about 25% of individuals, depression occurs in 25% of older individuals with comorbidities or common combinations of illnesses such as stroke, heart disease, diabetes. So the more diseases someone has that they're dealing with, the more likely they are to have depression and anxiety. And the challenge there is, with the senior population, they typically do have multiple problems. High blood pressure, things that limit their lives, things that limit their ability to be socially engaged. It can be missed sometimes by the primary physician because it doesn't look like depression looks like in a younger individual. With seniors, depression tends to be they're less active. You know, they're less engaged. They don't typically cry a lot. You know, they don't show the same way. And because they've reduced their activities, they may not eat, which adds to the complication of poor health. It adds to overall increase in hospitalizations and whatnot. So it looks different. Seniors typically reject help, and I don't think that that's unique just to seniors. I think in general the population reject help. They seem to think there's a stigma attached to depression. There's a stigma attached to anxiety, but it's if we broke our toe, we treat it. Well, we might not treat a broken toe, but I mean, you know, if you had another condition, you would take care of it. You would address it, and it's the same with depression. We want to make sure that treatment is available. So it's one of the most common mental health problems in older individuals. It affects 3 to 7% of the older population is affected by depression. 11% are affected by anxiety, which is just as much of a problem, because if they're anxious about finances, if they're anxious about how they're going to get where they need to go. I mean, I don't know if folks realize with the older population, but if they're not driving anymore, just figuring out how to pay your house payment if you don't typically mail it is a big challenge for them, and that causes a high level of anxiety. Just trying to figure out how you're going to get to the bank is a big deal. Things we don't really think about. So it's a real problem. PEARLS is what they call an evidence-based program, which means it's a proven treatment. It's been tested and tried, and it's effective. It was first tried in Washington State in the 90s, and it was established to address depression in older adults, and then also all ages of population that had epilepsy. We have chosen in Davis County to focus on just the older adult population, not the epilepsy segment as well. What they found was folks receiving PEARLS were 50%, they were more likely to show a 50% decrease in their overall depression. and they were more likely to show a 50% decrease in their overall anxiety. So they've shown through the studies since then and through the implementation that this works. And we are one of the 4 programs that are doing this in the Southeast region, one of 4. And so you think it's very heavily implemented up in the Washington area and coming on down that side of the U.S., but it's making its way over here, and so we're happy to be able to be a part of that. It works by teaching the client the necessary skills to help themselves. So what it does is it gives them the tools that they can use if they fall into a state of depression again themselves. It uses their local community resources. So whatever you have in the area that you live is what your counselor is going to tap into for you or with you. They're going to show you how to make those calls. They're going to show you how to set those appointments up and work within your own area. And then it uses a team approach, which is, as we know, it's more effective when all of your physicians, all of your providers, all of the folks that are interested in your life are involved in this particular treatment. And so it uses the team of counselors and the psychiatrists and nurse practitioners and your medical providers. It uses counselors all working together to help you solve this challenge that you're facing. It consists of 8 visits over a 6-month period. GRADD, our partnership with GRADD is that the case managers here at GRADD conduct that initial questionnaire. They go over it with the client. There's 9 questions on it, and they identify the clients that would most likely benefit from this treatment. After that, the referral is made to Estes Behavioral Health, who is our partnering provider, and they're in Hancock County. And they have 2 clinicians. They have 2 licensed social workers that actually implement the PEARLS program. And so they make the follow-up visits on a weekly or bi-weekly basis and help the client establish this plan that we're going to talk about, which each session, they define a problem, they come up with the goals for it, they come up with solutions, they choose the solution, and then they implement it. They do this every single visit. And what's neat about it, why it's so effective, why it works with seniors is because they're the ones identifying the problem. They're saying, I have this problem. I cannot pay my bills. I am lonely. That's the problem. And so they define what they think they can do to overcome that themselves. And so that makes it work. I mean, instead of somebody going and telling you, hey, this is going to help you, you're more likely to follow through with something that you've decided you want to do. And so that's why this works, and that's how the sessions are laid out. It uses a common sense approach, which sometimes common sense gets left in the background, but not with this program. It's easy to use. It takes about 45 minutes at each visit for the program to be implemented. It focuses on right now. And by that I mean it doesn't go back into their medical history. It doesn't go back into their personal history and dredge up all the old stuff. It's what's your problem today? Oh, I can't pay my bills. All right, let's figure out what we can do to help you overcome the anxiety of not being able to pay your bills. It has a broad sweeping scope. It addresses a whole range of all kinds of issues, your financial issues, your health-related issues. I mean, a lot of times with the older adults, they're depressed because they've just had it. I mean, I can tell you, I don't think she would mind me sharing. My mother is suffering right now from recovering from a knee operation, and her activity is tremendously limited, and her quality of life is tremendously limited, and she's a very active person and has suddenly found herself unable to be active. And so it addresses a large scope of things. And like I said, it has a high participant acceptance rate and satisfaction rate because they're the ones identifying it. They're the ones deciding how they're going to work on it. With depressed folks, and they're typically withdrawn. and they don't do fun things anymore. I know when I had bouts of it myself, and you just withdraw. You withdraw from people, you withdraw from, you don't read, you can't concentrate to read. And so one of the things that leads to, it disrupts your healthy lifestyle, or any type of your lifestyle. So what do? You really don't eat well, you really don't sleep well, and then ultimately you end up back in this cycle of poor health, exacerbating your anxiety, exacerbating your depression. And so this program, it just goes in there and it hijacks it. It says, okay, we're gonna increase your positive experiences. We're gonna figure out what it's gonna take to break this cycle of you being withdrawn, of you not eating, of you not sleeping, and we're gonna put that into place. So it ultimately improves your mood and your activity level, and then overall health. What's really interesting about the program, and I've not seen anything else that actually worked this way, but one of the things with the Pearls program that it requires they do is before the end of every session, they have to decide what they're going to do that's fun between now and that other time. It's their homework. They're going to have to identify what they want to do, and they have to do it. They have to select it, and they have to do it. And it could be anything. It could be walking. I enjoy walking to the mailbox with fresh air. I enjoy listening to Roy Orbison, whatever it is. That's what they're going to commit to doing between now and that next visit. It gives them something to look forward to. And like I said, clinical supervision is provided by a psychiatrist or a psychiatric nurse practitioner. They monitor any necessary medications. It's important for me to point out that about 40% of depressed the seniors that were identified in this program, they were already on antidepressants, and they were still depressed. They were still struggling with this. And so with the Pearls program, it monitors those medications. It works in conjunction with your clinician so that if they see that your medication is primarily the problem, they can talk with your physician, and they can get that taken care of. SS Behavioral Health is who monitors that piece of our program. And they meet with the team on a weekly or bi-weekly basis based on availability. And so they sit and they have a consult. They just talk about it. What's going on with this client? How's their scores? Because at each session, they retest them on that problem questionnaire. And what we hope to see is positive movement. You want to see a decline in that score. And if they don't see a decline in that score, then they discuss it and they make recommendations on how to intervene and how to change that. So right now, we started taking clients in December, and we have 4 that we're working with right now. We've got a few referrals still out there, and hope to be implementing that with them soon. We're still able to take new referrals. They do need to live in Davis County. They do need to be ages 60 or older. And the best part is there's no fee for the client at all. It is covered by their insurance, and then when it isn't, there's still no fee. But I haven't found a situation with seniors where it's not been covered by some sort of health insurance. And that's why we work with the providers that we work with. It is a billable service. So the program, we're fortunate in that the program will, I guess it'll sustain itself once the initial training and everything got paid for with the grant and those types of things. This program will sustain itself, and we hope to continue to be able to implement it in the future.